What's up everybody, and welcome back to Rebel Ranks, a fun little series where I put my credibility on the line by letting you know my opinions about well-loved video games. And today we'll be kicking off a new year of rankings by looking at Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. And of course we're going to be starting with Spyro the Dragon.
He is ugly. Ugly?
Now, in case you didn't know, the original Spyro trilogy are some of my favorite games from my childhood, so ranking the levels here proved to be rather difficult, not only because this game is amazing and I thoroughly enjoy every level in this game, but also because I couldn't play these levels in a worst to best order due to progression. So some of these levels can be swapped around a space, especially when it comes to the levels more towards the middle. As for the levels I'm ranking, it's everything. All 17 standard levels, all 6 bosses, all 5 hubs, all 5 flying levels, and the bonus stage. I'm including the bosses and hubs because they're built like the rest of the levels in this game and feel like full levels themselves. And totaling everything together, that's 34 levels we'll be ranking, and splitting that down the middle, we'll have 17 levels in the worst half and 17 levels in the best half. And lastly, in case anyone was unaware, these are just my opinions. I am not some arbiter of definitive rankings. I just always enjoyed watching rankings and wanted to channel all of my useless thoughts and opinions about the games we all love. So for this video, we'll be starting in the middle and working down to the worst level in Spyro the Dragon. So without further ado, let's get started. Please don't hate me. Number 17, Beastmakers, the 4th hub world and the hub of the swamp theme levels. And being a hub world, you might think they're more than likely to be considered bad levels, but that's not the case. Exploring the hub worlds can be fun in this game, and while this one isn't great, there is a worse hub world. But Beastmakers does have some things going for it. It features the Hogs from Misty Bog and the metal Norks from Terrace Village as enemies, has a decently hidden flight level, and has a locked chest with a hidden key that requires you to climb up the steps of a pyramid and glide onto a stump in the swamp. However, besides that, this hub world is just a little lackluster. It circles around a swamp and around a big tree up to a pyramid thing. I did just realize this cool statue thing. Cool detail. Most hub worlds in Spyro can actually be fun to explore, being that they're built like standard levels. Beastmakers just falls a little short of that. And being that we're looking at bad levels in this video, I felt that this stage was the perfect place to start. Number 16, Dr. Shemp, the boss of the second world, Peacekeepers, and similar with the hubs, you might think the bosses don't stack up to the standard levels, and in this case, you'd be right. 2/3 of the game's bosses are on the first half of this list, and when they're in the good half, the level part itself actually has a little oomph to it, and Dr. Shemp almost does. Almost. It starts outside of a large building with a few enemies. Before you enter the large structure, there's a whirlwind that takes you up to a high point where you can glide to a lone pillar and get a key for a locked chest, as well as reaching a few gems from the start that were out of reach. Then you get inside and fight Dr. Shemp, and yeah, the boss battle itself is pretty lame. They almost always are. Avoid an attack and flame him, or just flame him when you can. Some bosses in this game don't even need to attack you first. After beating him, you can get to the locked chest, and nothing amazing here. Yeah, Dr. Shemp is pretty middle of the road as far as the bosses go. It is short and the boss is lame, but I'm a sucker for locked chests with a hidden key. What can I say? Number 15, Dark Hollow, from the Artisans world, and this level is not even that bad, honestly. It just feels way too easy. The paths don't diverge nearly far enough, and it causes the level to feel like the shortest level in the game. The enemies are plentiful, so that's a plus, having a variety of large enemies and armored enemies, and even a couple large armored enemies. And that same path that goes down to the water area is cool. I do like how this level was redesigned with bookcases all over like some sort of dragon library, but besides that, this level is bland. When I first played this game as a kid, this stage was great because it taught me how the armored enemies work. As an adult, it just feels like a forced tutorial. Number 14, Metalhead, the boss of the Beastmakers world, and initially I had this boss much higher on the list. It was actually in the other half. The level portion is actually a decent size. The boss, minus the camera angle, isn't terrible. And then there's a locked chest. Oh, but where's the key? I mean, I know this game like the back of my hand. What the hell is that? However, after thinking about it, this is a very well hidden secret area and could take someone unfamiliar with the game a very long time to find, if they even could. Now yes, with the Reignited trilogy, Sparks can find gems for you from the start of the game, but Sparks didn't even have that ability unlockable in the first game, and I did have to take that into consideration. Well yes, when I play this boss now, I really do enjoy it, but the more I think about it, the more repressed memories I have of not being able to find all of the gems in this stage. Number 13, Dry Canyon from Peacemakers, and this is another level that isn't that bad, but it does have one flaw that does somewhat bother me. But starting off, I do like this stage. I like the beginning, I like the progression. I loved seeing that one dragon on the ledge as a kid and figured out that you have to glide to it from some other area. It's great. The one thing that bothers me is the repetitiveness of one section. Circling this building to get to the top requires a little stroll and a handful of jumps. Get this chest here, jump down, circle the building up to the top, jump, 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 glide over here. Oh wait, locked chest. Okay, glide back to the building, around, jump, 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 get the key later, backtrack, circle the building around, jump, 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 glide over here again, unlock the chest, glide back, jump, 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 jump. Yeah, if I didn't feel like I had to do that long repetitive part over and over and over again, this stage would probably be on the better half of this list. I mean, the rest of the stage is pretty awesome. Number 12, Clifftown, another level from Peacekeepers, and in theory, this level is fine. I just don't find myself really enjoying it too much. In the original, missing a gem because you didn't flame a kettle would leave you searching the level over and over and over. I do like actually scaling the cliff, and the first time you realize you have the altitude to fly across the river to even more gems in a dragon, as well as a new vantage point for even more hidden gems. It's great, but the egg thief here bugs the crap out of me. You know, I can't put my finger on what exactly about this stage I don't like. As a kid, I really did enjoy it, but knowing how this stage works just makes it feel incredibly basic. Number 11, Artisans, the first hub world in the game and also the worst hub world in the game. Now it is beautiful and starting here is so breathtaking, but everything just gets better, leaving this beginning hub world feeling a little bland once you start to see all of the other captivating worlds in the game. Most levels are out in the open, and there isn't really anything in lines of hidden gems. Sunny Flight's portal is hidden and it's pretty nifty, and that's basically it. The other hubs in this game all have something that stands out to me. All Artisans has going for it is that it's just the first hub in the game. And now that we've gone through the mediocre and subpar levels in Spyro the Dragon, we've finally reached the top 10 worst levels. And the next 5 stages are, well, it's all the flying stages. The next 5 levels are the flying stages. Yeah, I just don't like them that much. Number 10, Sunny Flight, the least bad of the flying stages. And my reasons are pretty simple. You have a lot of freedom in this flying stage. You can actually pick which items to get first and not throw everything else off by doing so. There are 2 arches that are basically on the water, which can be annoying to hit and fall in, but it could have been worse. The freedom of tackling this whichever way you want is great, and it's easy to complete before the clock runs out. Number 9, Wild Flight, and this flying level is okay also. There are 2 paths to take, and you can choose which way you want to go first, planes and chests or boats and arches. The planes and chests are fun, the boats and arches are just too close to the water, making falling in way too easy. Number 8, Icy Flight, and there isn't much choice here into where to go first. Lighthouses and chests will be done in tandem, and then the train barrels and flying Norks. Everything's up in the air, so you shouldn't fall into the water too much, but it's just bland and has no freedom. Number 7, Crystal Flight, and this level is kind of bugging me. You start and the ring takes your attention. If you do, you'll do rings, arches, then chests and planes. However, this way is actually more time consuming. I went for the planes, but they were spaced out, so it was chests, then a couple arches, then the rings, then the rest of the arches, and then luckily I found the last plane and an arch with much more time to spare. It's cool that going your own path can save a bunch of time, but it's not a great choice to make the level impossible if you go the normal route. And number 6, Night Flight, and yup, this is the worst flying stage. Everything is spaced out and in line, meaning you can't choose which items you want to do first. You only have one route, and because everything is so spaced out, just completing this in time is tough. And yeah, maybe you can get a lighthouse with an arch to shave off a couple seconds, but once again, it isn't fun having to retry a few times because you were literally under a second short. Woohoo! What a relief we finally got through the flying levels. Which is fitting because that's exactly how I feel when I'm playing the flying levels. And with that, we reached the 5 worst stages in Spyro the Dragon, and I do want to reiterate just one more time for the people in the back, this is just my video, which means that this is just my opinion. Good? Good. Number 5, Treetops from the Beastmaker's Hub. And yeah, I know this level isn't that bad, you know, once you've beaten the game 50 plus times. Otherwise, you'll be stuck here trying to get all the gems. Actually, even if you've beaten the game multiple times, you'll probably still get stuck on this level for a few minutes trying to figure it out again. Now, the main part of this level is great. There's a fork in the road early on, but one of the paths is hidden out of a window. Took me a while to figure that out at 7 years old. Haven't ever forgotten though. Either path you take will be a fun journey to the end of the level. And I mean it. Then you have to make your way to the other path that you didn't take. Making your way back the first time isn't too bad, but it won't be the only time. You'll be taking this whirlwind up to this platform, over to this tree, to this platform, to take this whirlwind up to the start of the level. And this is when it actually starts to get pretty tough. There's a difficult but somewhat figure-outable supercharged chain. From here, go directly to this one, and then a sharp right up to this supercharged ramp backwards to hit this hidden ramp to get you all the way to the very last dragon and a bunch of gems. And yes, it is very tough to figure this out, but it makes me happy getting this one done. And then I get stuck for 8 minutes unable to figure this one out, which I'd say is more than likely the easier one to figure out, but hey, not for me, I guess. Either way, I do like what they were going for here. I just hate not being able to figure it out even though it's been my 50th time doing it. Number 4, Stone Hill. One of, if not the first main level in Spyro 1. And I do understand that this is a super nostalgic level and feels so much like a Spyro level. I just don't really like it too much. Compared to other levels in the game, this level is pretty big. Unfortunately, it's pretty empty as well. From the start area, there are 4 areas to go. One doorway to an underground circle with the dragon, another to the end of the level, a well you can jump down hiding a dragon in a locked chest, and the 4th way leading to another wide open area. Some enemies in a whirlwind up to a dragon, as well as an upper portion of the level that circles the rest of the level. And it's kind of cool being up here, not having a wall encasing you in. However, there's just an invisible barrier that bounces you off. And being how hilly it is, finding all of the gems up here on your first go will be pure luck. And lastly, the level ends with a secret area behind the return home portal down on the beach below. A secret cave with a key for the locked chest. And this would be a great secret on any other level than the first level. It hides them so well that it unintentionally creates a false precedent that the key or the locked chest can be in a different level than its counterpart, and that to me is very bad design. Take Wumpa Lewis's first Spyro video, for example. Yeah, that's some pretty deep stuff. And on top of that, the whole upper area is rather annoying, and the level itself is just wide open and bland. I do understand that it is the first level in the game, and it is a good level. But once you look at every other level in the game, it becomes rather apparent that this is far from a top tier level. Number 3, Terrace Village, also from the Beastmaker's world, along with number 5. And this level, man, it isn't even that bad. I'm watching my gameplay and it still looks fun. These levels are all amazing, but this one really has some clear design flaws. The first part of the level has 2 paths, the main path and a path that skirts around the edge. The second not really being hidden, so you'll end up doing a big circle here anyway. Also, some of these gems can really get tucked into the corners, making cleanup pretty time consuming. After the first part, you get to the electric floors, and around here are 3 sealed metal crates. Making your way through the electrified floors, you'll get to this part where you hop up these steps, glide over to here, whirlwind up to here, glide from here over to here, hop up these stairs, and glide all the way over here to the start of the electric floor part. However, now you're on the top of the area. You'll fire some fireworks and break 2 of the chests. Turns out that the 3rd firework is on the floor, so you have to hop down and realize that you actually should have glided over here to where this sealed chest was, because now you have to go all the way back to hop up these steps, to glide over here to the whirlwind up here, to glide all the way and hop up these stairs, and then glide all the way back over here to the electric floor part, just so you can glide over here and get this gem that you accidentally missed. It's time consuming and incredibly annoying. In a way, this level has the bland nature of Stone Hill and the tedious repetitiveness of the treetops, combined to just bring an unenjoyable level to the game. And with that, we reach the top 2 stages, and spoilers, they're both bosses. Number 2, Nasty Gnorc. Gnasty Gnorc, the final boss in the game, and some might say, not even really a level. And to them I'd say, come on, I've put every other level flight stage boss and hub in this list. I had to include Nasty. Also, without him, the list would have been uneven. So Nasty isn't really a level. No real exploring here, and no dragons, but there are gems to get. First, you'll chase an egg thief with a key through a little track, and then you'll chase another egg thief with a key through a little track, and then you chase Nasty Toasty around a little track. And yeah, you just chase him. First time I moseyed around grabbing all the gems, and then you chase him the second time he gets to the end and you flame him. It's very lame. Then, and this is the best part of this boss, you chase him again, but while platforms are retracting into the walls. As a kid, this part was tough. As an adult, it's pretty easy, but it's still somewhat cool. It is basically the only good part of the stage, though. And when you compare him to the rest of the bosses in the stage, it is rather strange that they opted out of a pre-boss level area, like outside of a castle or something to explore, as opposed to just chasing egg thieves. However, not even a small level area before the boss could have saved the worst stage in Spyro the Dragon. Number 1, Toasty. Straight up the least enjoyable part of Spyro the Dragon. The first boss from the Artisans homeworld, and Toasty himself, I guess isn't too bad. It's the small level stage before it. The enemies here are the worst enemies in the game. These dogs are terrible. They have 2 hit points, unlike basically every other enemy in this game. It's almost required to use the shoulder button roll, and that doesn't even work half the time. On top of that, there are no sheep or any butterfly making animals, so getting hit is a lot worse here. And it isn't even that long. It's just that the dogs will take up so much of your health, and there are so many dogs in this stage. Getting through the dog section at minimum, dying at least once, and then you can, you know, kind of avoid the enemies since they don't have gems anymore and try to avoid them completely. And then you get to Toasty, a sheep on stilts. And this battle isn't too bad. There are dogs again, but the area is more wide open than any other part of the level, so avoiding the dogs here is just much easier. And that's literally it. Too short, too infuriating, and too boring. Worst stage in Spyro. And honestly, the only stage in Spyro 1 that I don't enjoy any part of at all. But let me know down below what your least favorite stages in Spyro the Dragon were. Is Toasty on the top of your list as well? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed for more Spyro content. Best levels is coming up next, along with the retrospectives of 2 and 3 and the rankings of 2 and 3 and maybe the orbs and the dragons and the dragon eggs. And I don't know. Lots of Spyro stuff planned. But I mean, come on, who doesn't like Spyro? What? Who said that? Which one of you no good